My body and I have had some disagreements recently. This is to be expected in any collaboration. As the years pass, relationships of all kinds become more complicated. In the case of my relationship with my friend and collaborator, the body, the situation has become rather acute over the last year. There's been more friction and more conflict. Tendinitis, radiculopathy, COVID, lymphoma, for goodness sake. What were you thinking? At the moment, chronic low back pain has flared up, and the x-rays show a 62-year-old back, which, as a 62-year-old man, I find completely inappropriate and disappointing. Oh, and my bald spot is progressing well beyond the denial stage, and I need a new reader prescription. So there have been some awkward moments and some tense conversations. I know that my body and I should remain friends, and we're both committed to this relationship, but things are a bit frosty at the moment. I feel like my body has let me down, and I can only surmise from the discomfort it's putting me through that it feels the same way, although I know I didn't do anything wrong. And hey, who's working for whom here? Hiya, Gray Steel. It's Sully here with the Barbell Prescription. And this is a situation where forgiveness is indicated. People our age know the power of forgiveness in relationships, all kinds of relationships. When we forgive a friend, a loved one, a partner, or an associate, we are in a very real way identifying with them. We're recognizing that they're like us, like everybody else. We're all limited, finite in our physical and our cognitive and even our moral capacities. Forgiveness is a deeply human and humane and compassionate act, and it's an act that allows us to go forward in our relationships by identifying with rather than objectifying others. So why are we so slow to forgive our bodies? We say, this damn knee, or my stupid back. I do it too, but I think we can do better. One has no more intimate relationship than with one's own body. If we can't forgive our aging and finite bodies with compassion, how can we go forward? We can't, of course. Forgiveness is essential in relationships. But there's a deeper point here. The idea, a pernicious one, in my opinion, that our body is an other, another being, another entity, another thing. Of course, this perspective proceeds from an immemorial mind-body duality that has been with us at least since the Greeks. The idea that we are a spirit holed up in a slowly rotting meat sack. We identify with our psyche, our mind, our spirit, or soul, all of which are considered sublime, transcendental, and relatively pure. Unless you're Ozzy Osbourne or Louis C.K. But especially as we age, we may tend not to identify with the body, which for most of the Western tradition has been considered irretrievably corrupt, profane, or even the very nexus of evil itself. Forgiveness and compassion for your body comes a lot harder when you have been programmed by 6,000 years of civilization to think of yourself as an 18-year-old V8 Mustang Spirit trapped inside a sputtering 1967 Dodge Dart, a prison jalopy with no chance of a trade-in. Forgiveness comes much easier if you discard that image and realize that you and your body are a unity. I hasten to point out that this is not a religious or theological proposition. You all know I stay way the hell away from that stuff. I do not and cannot claim that final failure and perishing the body leaves nothing behind. I have not the competence to hold forth on such matters, and in any event, I find no dispositive data on the point one way or the other. What I do claim is that my body and I are not two beings, but one. We have no experience of being in the world without our bodies, of apprehending anything without our senses and our brains, of doing anything without our bodies, of existing in any way outside our bodies. In the temporal realm that is my world, my body and I are the same being. So To forgive my body for being temporal, finite, aging, and vulnerable is to forgive myself for being temporal, finite, aging, and vulnerable. This I would do for any one of you, for any client or friend or loved one. And you would do it for me, I'm sure. In so doing, you would be putting yourself in my shoes, or rather in my skin, acknowledging that we are all in the same boat. We all share a biological destiny. We all share the same mortality. We are all the same. Forgiveness and compassion imply and enact unity. To forgive our bodies is to forgive ourselves and to forgive others for the failings of their bodies, to have compassion for our own universal predicament. And it is also permission to move on from here. Forgiving my body for its weak links and aches and pains, and even for its recent and rather serious cancerous transgressions, a firing offense, well, that forgiveness reestablishes the unity that my body and I are, and allows us to move forward. Forgiveness is not forgetting, of course. It doesn't undo what is done, and it does not relieve me of the difficulties of dealing with the scar of time. But it reintegrates me with my corporeal self and dissipates the paralysis that attends upon making my own body an alien, an other. Forgiving the body is self-forgiveness and allows us to keep moving. And as we all know, movement is medicine. So what does this all mean from a practical perspective? It means that when your body reminds you that you're not as supple as you used to be, and that you bear the scars of a life spent in the arena of time, that you listen. It means that you take the extra day of recovery. You use the Tylenol and the Bengay and the wraps. You do a temporary deload or drop your volume to recover. And above all, you don't beat yourself up and insult the precious body that is part of what you are. You don't say, "this damn knee," or "my stupid back." Instead, you say, "my knee is telling me something important," or "my back needs some recovery so I can stay strong and fit." Listen to yourself. Listen to your body as you would listen to a loved one, and take good care. Now, of course, you have to train. What else can you do? You wouldn't let a loved one stop training for chronic low back pain or a minor tweak, would you? No. But wouldn't you adjust their program to give them the recovery and healing time they needed to keep training in the long term? Of course you would. Why not do that for yourself by forgiving your body for being a human body and moving on from there? To quote that great 21st century philosopher of morals, Raymond Reddington, forgiveness can't change the past, but it can change the future. And the future is where we and our bodies must go, together. Thanks for watching.